Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Scott's Thoughts. I'm Scott Benedict. Let me give you a number that should make every CMO or every cheese merchant really uncomfortable. 44%. That's the percentage of product pages receiving retail media dollars that aren't fully optimized according to some recent research I was reading. That means nearly half the traffic brands are paying for is landing on pages that aren't positioned to really convert, to turn into a purchase. If that's true, I think we collectively don't have a traffic problem. I think what you've got is a readiness problem. That's what I want to talk about today. You see, retail media is exploding. That's probably not news to anybody. Budgets are growing, expectations are growing, and boards want incrementality. But here's where the disconnect is. One team is responsible for driving traffic. That's generally the marketing team. Another team is responsible for what happens after the click. And too often those teams are operating completely independently in different silos. The result, you're paying to send shoppers to incomplete content, weak imagery, thin review counts, suboptimal star ratings, or worse, products that aren't even in stock. That's not media efficiency. That's organizational misalignment and not a good thing. So let me make this practical for you. If you're spending, say, $500,000 on retail media and 44% of your PDPs aren't optimized, that's potentially over $200,000 that's delivering below par returns. Now, consider this. Campaigns tied to a fully optimized product detail page have shown roughly 29% higher ROAS in some recent research that I read. High-performing imagery can drive that performance even higher. Products with strong review depth and higher star ratings outperform even the best paid environments. So we're not talking about incremental gains. What we're really talking about is structural leakage, if you will, in the system. Now, when I was a buyer or when I was leading merchandising organizations, you would never spend money promoting a product that wasn't ready for the physical shelf. We wouldn't feature an item that had bad or substandard packaging or that didn't have inventory in stock or was sitting in the wrong location in the store. But in digital commerce, I have to tell you, that sort of thing happens every day. We run paid media ads and campaigns against products that don't meet content benchmarks, whether our own or the retailers, don't rank organically very high or at all, don't have review credibility, and or can't sustain inventory that don't consistently remain in stock. Now, retail media has most certainly become a growth lever for both retailers and brands together. But without digital shelf discipline, it becomes really a cost amplifier. And you can't advertise your way out of poor fundamentals of retail go-to-market strategy. The real issue isn't creative execution, I'll tell you. It's the operating model design. High-performing organizations really align around a three-legged stool metaphor, if you'll stay with me on that. Operations, availability, pricing, fulfillment, all those things are really set up to be successful. Content, and what I mean by that, complete content, complete imagery, known and identified keywords, and advertising, sponsored search, display ads, on-site and off-site. If one of those three legs is weak, the stool tips over. In the metaphor and in reality, retail media isn't really just a marketing function anymore. I would argue it's a cross-functional performance system, and the brands that treat it that way, I believe, will win over the long term. Now, as algorithms become more intent aware, as AI agents evaluate products on behalf of the consumer, on behalf of the shopper, as the answer engines synthesize PDP content in real time, The quality of your product detail page doesn't just impact conversion, it will impact discoverability, recommendations, and machine trust, the trust that the algorithm will do well to recommend your product versus a competitor. And I would argue in the next era of commerce, media dollars won't fix weak foundational elements of your go-to-market strategy. In fact, they may expose them much faster. So here's a leadership question for you to consider today. Before you increase your retail media budget, have you audited your digital shelf readiness? Have you gone through and double-checked all your PDPs? Because the research I've been reading recently is nearly half of brands' PDPs aren't fully optimized. So you're not scaling growth, you're scaling waste, really. And that's something I think we should all be wary of in modern commerce. That's what I've been thinking about. I'm Scott Benedict.